Mike, thank you so much for being on the program. You were a regular during the persecution of Donald Trump for holding and misusing and mixing classified documents with other documents in an unsecure facility down in Mar-a-Lago. Resulted in a raid. You were on the program regularly talking to people, talking to our audience about how Donald Trump has the right to do this. Does Joe Biden have the same right?
He does not. When you're the president of the United States, you have the constitutional and statutory power under the Presidential Records Act to declassify and take any records you want when you leave office. You can take a personal copy of records, and it goes to the office of former president that has federally funded office space, federally funded staff, Secret Service protection. It's a very secure environment. Contrast that with Joe Biden, who did not have the constitutional or statutory power under the Presidential Records Act to take any documents when he left office, let alone classified documents. And he took them apparently to an office in Washington, D.C. that he used as a fake professor for the University of Pennsylvania. You have to ask who had access to this office, that he had these, it looks like at least 10 classified records in his office in Washington, D.C. Did Hunter? Is this the office that Hunter Biden used for his meetings? Is this the office that James Biden used for his meetings? Is there going to be an FBI raid on Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, James Biden? Is there going to be, at a minimum, is there going to be an intel assessment like they're doing with President Trump, documents that he had at Mar-a-Lago in a secure environment versus Biden's records that he had no right to have in an unsecured environment?
So, I mean, it's very curious to see this boomerang back on the same people who screamed from the rooftops that this was going to ban Donald Trump from ever being president again. Now, scholars and people who actually understand the law, like yourselves, made sure that we were comforted by the fact that it is established law that Bill Clinton's sock drawer, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, that every president has the right to classify or declassify because the executive is embodied in that person. As you just stated, the vice president doesn't have that authority and has no authority to keep classified documents. So perhaps, actually, tweets like this one from your dear friend Mark Eilis, Democrat super lawyer, might actually apply to Joe Biden, shockingly. Now, Mark Eilis went through and deleted this tweet this morning, and we thought that was very curious. What he's saying here is that this, according to this U.S. Code 2071, people who mishandle classified documents shall forfeit office and be disqualified from holding any other office in the United States, maybe in prison for 3 years. Well, is this going to backfire and boomerang on Joe Biden? Are these rules going to apply to him?
It's amazing that Mark Elias, he's not so principled in his position anymore. I mean, because all Democrats care about is power, right? And they know damn well that President Trump did nothing wrong when he took records to Mar-a-Lago, the office of former president, when he left office. He had the constitutional right to do it as commander in chief. He had the statutory right under the Presidential Records Act. And it's amazing, these people who were screaming at the top of their lungs that Trump put our national security at risk, it's just crickets out of them. And what's even more damning about this is they found these records on November 2nd, 6 days before the election, and they covered this up for 2 months. Why did they cover this up until now? Why did they wait till now to disclose that they found these classified records in some office in Washington, D.C. that Biden used as a fake professor at the University of Pennsylvania? And maybe Hunter and James Biden also used this office.
Yeah. Do you think that this is I mean, why is this coming out now? Mike, what is your take? Do you think that this is in some way like their ability to say, hey, we have dirt on you, pal, don't you dare think about running in 2024? Or did they just wait for the lowest possible impact time to slowly breadcrumb this out there?
Well, I think it's the latter, because I think the National Archives is full of a bunch of leftists. They're not these non-political bureaucrats and librarians like people think. That the leaders of the National Archives are political activists for the Democrats. Remember, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, James Biden were on the Chinese and Ukrainian payrolls when he left the White House when he left as vice president. It is very damning that he has these records, and so I think there needs to be a full accounting of what these records are who had access to them. There needs to be an intel assessment. The same nonsense that they're doing for President Trump, where these records were in a secure office of the former president guarded by the Secret Service. These Biden stolen classified records were not. These are stolen records. They're classified records. They're government property. He had no right to take them. It puts our national security at risk when he has them in an unsecured environment, and so they need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. There's story after story after story of people mishandling classified information and going to prison for a very, very long time doing this. Now, the only thing that protects you from that seems to be high office held by Democrats. You saw Hillary Clinton do it. Now you're seeing Joe Biden do it. What do you think the result of this will be?
Nothing. I mean, they're going to do nothing. They're going to bury this. You notice that the media, there was one story from CBS, so clearly the Biden administration gave this exclusive to CBS, a friendly media outlet, and they disclosed it, and then they let the Biden people explain away why there's nothing wrong here. And so that's how they broke the story to CBS. And that shouldn't be good enough. House Republicans need to get to the bottom of this. They need the Intel committee needs to start issuing subpoenas, and other committees if they need to, government oversight, whoever, armed services, they have to get to the bottom of this. They cannot allow the Biden justice. Where is Attorney General Merrick Garland? Where is the FBI? I mean, he's
in Mexico right now. He's in Mexico right now with Biden.
The same people who are absolutely hysterical against President Trump because he had records in Mar-a-Lago that Trump even if President Trump did not declassify these records, which he did, but even if he did not declassify the records, he's allowed to take them under the Presidential Records Act. That's why he again has federally funded office space, federally funded staff with security clearances, SCIFs, which are secure compartment and information facilities to look at classified records. Former Vice President Joe Biden had none of those records, and President Trump, there's no evidence whatsoever that President Trump was on the Ukrainian and Chinese payrolls like there's smoking gun evidence that Biden was and his family.
A lot riding on this new GOP majority in the House. We'll see what comes of it. It's been a strong start, so we'll pray for the best. This would be a James Comer oversight investigation, right? Like this would be looking in from James Comer's committee.
It could be Comer. That's the government oversight committee. It could be Intel committee. It could be Judiciary committee. There are a lot of committees who could be issuing subpoenas today.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, we pray that they're watching and listening, and we know actually some of them are. Thank you, Mike Davis, so very much for fighting the good fight inside of the belly of the beast.
Thank you, Ben.